A True Story from Little Anne and Other Poems by Jane Taylor and Ann Taylor. Read for LibriVox.org by mleigh. Little Anne and her mother were walking one day through London's white city so fair, and business obliged them to go by the way that led them through Cavendish Square. As they passed by the great house of a lord, a beautiful chariot there came to take the most elegant ladies abroad, who straightway got into the same. The ladies in feathers and jewels were seen, the chariot was painted all o'er, the footmen behind were in silver and green, the horses were prancing before. Little Anne by her mother walked silent and sad, a tear trickled down from her eye, till her mother said, "Anne, I should be very glad to know what it is makes you cry." "Mamma," said the child, "see that carriage so fair, all covered with varnish and gold. Those ladies are riding so charmingly there, while we have to walk in the cold. You say God is kind to the folks that are good, but surely it cannot be true, or else I am certain almost that he would give such a fine carriage to you." "Look there, little girl," said her mother, "and see what stands at that very coach door, a poor ragged beggar, and listen how she a halfpenny tries to implore. All pale is her face and deep sunk is her eye, and her hands look like skeletons' bones. She has got a few rags just about her to tie, and her naked feet bleed on the stones. Dear ladies," she cries, and the tears trickle down, "relieve a poor beggar, I pray. I've wandered all hungry about this wide town, and not ate a morsel to-day. My mother and father are long ago dead, my brother sails over the sea, and I've scarcely a rag or a morsel of bread, as plainly I'm sure you may see. A fever I caught which was terrible bad, but no nurse or physic had I. An old dirty shed was the house that I had, and only on straw could I lie. And now that I'm better, yet feeble and faint, and famished and naked and cold, I wander about with my grievous complaint, and seldom get aught but a scold. Some will not attend to my pitiful call, some think me a vagabond cheat, and scarcely a creature relieves me of all the thousands that traverse the street. Then, ladies, dear ladies, your pity bestow." Just then a tall footman came round, and asking the ladies which way they would go, the chariot turned off with a bound. "Ah, see, little girl," then her mother replied, "how foolish those murmurs have been. You have but to look on the contrary side to learn both your folly and sin. This poor little beggar is hungry and cold. No mother awaits her return, and while such an object as this you behold, your heart should with gratitude burn. Your house and its comforts, your food and your friends, 'tis favor in God to confer. Have you any claim to the bounty he sends? Who makes you to differ from her? A coach and a footman and gaudy attire give little true joy to the breast. To be good is the thing you should chiefly desire, and then leave to God all the rest." End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Boys and the Apple Tree by Jane Taylor and Ann Taylor. Read for LibriVox.org by Larry Wilson. As William and Thomas were walking one day, they came by a fine orchard side. They would rather eat apples than spell, read, or play, and Thomas to William then cried, "Ho, brother, look yonder, what clusters hang there! I'll try and climb over the wall. I must have an apple, I will have a pear, although it should cost me a fall." Said William to Thomas, "To steal is a sin, mamma has oft told this to thee. I never have stolen, nor will I begin, so the apples may hang on the tree." "You are a good boy, as you ever have been," said Thomas. "Let's walk on, my lad. We'll call on our schoolfellow Benjamin Green, who to see us I know will be glad." They came to the house, and asked at the gate, "Is Benjamin Green now at home?" But Benjamin did not allow them to wait, and brought them both into the room. And he smiled and he laughed and capered with joy, his little companions to greet. "And we too are happy," said each little boy, "our playfellows dear thus to meet. Come, walk in our garden this morning so fine, we may, for my father gives leave, and more, he invites you to stay here and dine, and a most happy day we shall have." But when in the garden they found 'twas the same they saw as they walked in the road. And near the high wall, when those little boys came, they started as if from a toad. "That large ring of iron you see on the ground, with terrible teeth like a saw," said their friend, "the guard of our garden is found, and it keeps all intruders in awe. If any the warning without set at naught, their legs then this man-trap must tear." Said William to Thomas, "So you've been caught, if you had leapt over just there." Cried Thomas in terror of what he saw, "With my faults I will heartily grapple, for I learn what may happen by breaking a law, although but in stealing an apple." End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Sophia's Fool's Cap by Jane Taylor and Ann Taylor. Read for LibriVox.org by Deanna Kay. Sophia was a little child, obliging, good, and very mild. Yet lest of dress she should be vain, mamma still dressed her well, but plain. Her parents, sensible and kind, wished only to adorn her mind. No other dress, when good, had she, but useful, neat simplicity. Though seldom, yet when she was rude, or ever in a naughty mood, her punishment was this disgrace: a large fine cap adorned with lace, with feathers and with ribbons too. The work was neat, the fashion new. Yet, as a fool's cap was its name, she dreaded much to wear the same. A lady, fashionably gay, did to mamma a visit pay. Sophia stared, then whispering said, "Why, dear mamma, look at her head! To be so tall and wicked too! The strangest thing I ever knew! What naughty tricks, pray, has she done, that they have put that fool's cap on?" End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Frances Keeps Her Promise by Jane Taylor and Ann Taylor. Read for LibriVox.org by Stunning. My Fanny, I have news to tell. Your diligence quite pleases me. You've worked so neatly, read so well. With Cousin Jane you may take tea. But pray remember this, my love. Although to stay you should incline, and none but you should think to move, I wish you to return at 9. With many thanks the attentive child assured mamma she would obey, whom tenderly she kissed and smiled, and with the maid then went away. Arrived, the little girl was shown to where she met the merry band, and when her coming was made known, all greet her with a welcome bland. They dance, they play, and sweetly sing, in every sport each one partakes. And now the servants sweetmeats bring, with wine and jellies, fruit and cakes. Then comes Papa, who says, "My dear's the magic lantern, if you'd see, and that which on the wall appears. Leave off your play and follow me." While Frances, too, enjoyed the sight, where moving figures all combine to raise her wonder and delight, she hears, alas, the clock strike 9. Miss Fanny's maid for her is come. "Oh dear, how soon!" the children cry. They press, but Fanny will go home, and bids her little friends good-bye. "See, dear mamma, I have not stayed." "Good girl, indeed," mamma replies. "I knew you'd do as you had said, and now you'll find you've won a prize. So come, my love, and see the man whom I desired at 9 to call." Downstairs young Frances quickly ran, and found him waiting in the hall. "Here, miss, are pretty birds to buy, a parrot or macaw so gay, a speckled dove with scarlet eye, a linnet or a chattering jay. Would you a Java sparrow, love?" "No, no, I thank you," said the child. "I'll have a beauteous cooing dove, so harmless, innocent, and mild." "Your choice, my Fanny, I commend. Few birds can with the dove compare, but lest it pine without a friend, I give you leave to choose a pair." End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Careless Matilda by Jane Taylor and Ann Taylor. Read for LibriVox.org by Marie Christian. "Again, Matilda, is your work undone? Your scissors, where are they? Your thimble, gone? Your needles, pins, and thread and tapes all lost? Your housewife here, and there your work-bag tossed? Fie, fie, my child, indeed this will not do. Your hair uncombed, your frock in tatters too. I'm now resolved no more delays to grant. To learn of her, I'll send you to your aunt." In vain Matilda wept, entreated, prayed. In vain a promise of amendment made. Arrived at austere hall, Matilda sighed. By Lady Rigid when severely eyed. "You read and write and work well, as I'm told, are gentle, kind, good-natured, and not bold, but very careless, negligent, and wild. You'll leave me, as I hope, a different child." The little girl next morn a favor asks. "I wish to take a walk." "Go, learn your tasks," replies her aunt, "nor fruitlessly repine. Your room you'll leave not till you're called to dine." As there Matilda sat, o'erwhelmed with shame, a dame appeared, Disorder was her name. Her hair and dress neglected, soiled her face, her mien unseemly and devoid of grace. "Here, child," said she, "my mistress sends you this, a bag of silks, a flower, not worked amiss, a polyanthus bright, and wondrous gay. You'll copy it by noon, she bade me say." Disorder grinned, and shuffling walked away. Entangled were the silks of every hue, confused and mixed were shades of pink, green, blue. She took a thread, compared it with the flower. "To finish this is not within my power. Well-sorted silks had Lady Rigid sent, I might have worked if such was her intent." She sighed and melted into sobs and tears. She hears a step, and at the door appears a pretty maiden, clean, well-dressed, and neat. Her voice was soft, her looks sedate yet sweet. "My name is Order, do not cry, my love. Attend to me, and thus you may improve." She took the silks and drew out shade by shade, in separate skeins, and each with care she laid, then smiling kindly left the little maid. She leaves the room. "I've done my task," she cries. The lady looked and scarce believed her eyes, yet soon her harshness changed to glad surprise. "Why, this is well, a very pretty flower, worked so exact and done within the hour. And now amuse yourself, and walk or play." Thus passed Matilda this much dreaded day. At all her tasks disorder would attend. At all her tasks still order stood her friend. With tears and sighs her studies oft began. These into smiles were changed by order's plan. No longer Lady Rigid seemed severe. The negligent alone her eye need fear. And now the wished-for day is come, when young Matilda may revisit home. "You quit me, child, but oft to mind recall the time you spent with me at austere hall. And now, my dear, I'll give you one of these, to be your maid. Take with you which you please." "What, from disorder do you frightened start?" Matilda clasped sweet order to her heart, and said, "From thee, best friend, I'll never part." End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Violet by Jane Taylor and Ann Taylor. Read for LibriVox.org by Stunning. Down in a green and shady bed, a modest violet grew. Its stalk was bent, it hung its head, as if to hide from view. And yet it was a lovely flower, its color bright and fair. It might have graced a rosy bower, instead of hiding there. Yet thus it was content to bloom, in modest tints arrayed, and there diffused a sweet perfume within the silent shade. Then let me to the valley go, this pretty flower to see, that I may also learn to grow in sweet humility. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Orphan by Jane Taylor and Ann Taylor. Read for LibriVox.org by Deanna Kay. My father and mother are dead. Nor friend nor relation I know. And now the cold earth is their bed, and daisies will over them grow. I cast my eyes into the tomb. The sight made me bitterly cry. I said, "And is this the dark room where my father and mother must lie?" I cast my eyes round me again, and hoped some protector to see. Alas, but the search was in vain, for none had compassion on me. I cast my eyes up to the sky. I groaned, though I said not a word. Yet God was not deaf to my cry. The friend of the fatherless heard. For since I have trusted his care, and learned on his word to depend, he has kept me from every snare, and been my best father and friend. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Disappointment by Jane Taylor and Ann Taylor. Read for LibriVox.org by Marie Christian. In tears to her mother poor Harriet came. Let us listen to hear what she says. "Oh, see, dear mamma, it is pouring with rain. We cannot go out in the chaise. All the week I have longed for this holiday so, and fancied the minutes were hours. And now that I'm dressed and all ready to go, do look at those terrible showers." "I'm sorry, my dear," her kind mother replied. "The rain disappoints us today, but sorrow still more that you fret for a ride in such an extravagant way. These slight disappointments are sent to prepare for what may hereafter befall, for seasons of real disappointment and care, which commonly happen to all. For just like today with its holiday lost, is life and its comforts at best. Our pleasures are blighted, our purposes crossed, to teach us it is not our rest. And when those distresses and crosses appear, with which you may shortly be tried, you'll wonder that ever you wasted a tear on merely the loss of a ride. But though the world's pleasures are fleeting and vain, religion is lasting and true. Real pleasure and peace in her paths you may gain, nor will disappointment ensue. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
James and the Shoulder of Mutton by Jane Taylor and Ann Taylor. Read for LibriVox.org by Stunning. Young Jem at noon returned from school as hungry as could be. He cried to Sue, the servant maid, "My dinner give to me." Said Sue, "It is not yet come home, besides it is not late." "No matter that," cries little Jem, "I do not like to wait." Quick to the baker's Jemmy went, and asked, "Is dinner done?" "It is," replied the baker's man. "Then home I'll with it run." "Nay, sir," replied he prudently, "I tell you 'tis too hot, and much too heavy 'tis for you." "I tell you it is not." "Papa, mamma are both gone out, and I for dinner long. So give it me, it is all mine, and baker hold your tongue." "A shoulder 'tis of mutton nice, and batter pudding too. I'm glad of that, it is so good. How clever is our Sue!" Now near the door young Jem was come. He round the corner turned. But oh, sad fate, unlucky chance! The dish his fingers burned. Now in the kennel down fell dish, and down fell all the meat. Swift went the pudding in the stream, and sailed along the street. The people laughed, and rude boys grinned at Mutton's hapless fall. But though ashamed, young Jemmy cried, "Better lose part than all." The shoulder by the knuckle seized, his hands both grasped it fast, and deaf to all their jibes and cries, he gained his home at last. "Impatience is a fault," cries Jem. "The baker told me true. In future I will patient be, and mind what says our Sue." End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. The Good-Natured Girls by Jane Taylor and Ann Taylor. Read for LibriVox.org by Stunning. Two good little children, named Mary and Ann, both happily live, as good girls always can. And though they are not either sullen or mute, they seldom or never are heard to dispute. If one wants a thing that the other would like, well, what do? Must they quarrel and strike? No, each is so willing to give up her own that such disagreements are there never known. If one of them happens to have something nice, directly she offers her sister a slice, and never, like some greedy children would try, to eat in a corner with nobody by. When papa or mamma has a job to be done, these good little children immediately run, nor dispute whether this or the other should go. They would be ashamed to behave themselves so. Whatever occurs in their work or their play, they are willing to yield and give up their own way. Then now let us try their example to mind, and always, like them, be obliging and kind. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
To a Little Girl That Has Told a Lie by Jane Taylor and Ann Taylor. Read for LibriVox.org by Deanna Kay. And has my darling told a lie? Did she forget that God was by? That God who saw the things she did, from whom no action can be hid? Did she forget that God could see and hear wherever she might be? He made your eyes and can discern whichever way you think to turn. He made your ears and he can hear when you think nobody is near. In every place, by night or day, he watches all you do and say. Oh, how I wish you would but try to act as shall not need a lie. And when you wish a thing to do that has been once forbidden you, remember that, nor even dare to disobey, for God is there. Why should you fear the truth to tell? Does falsehood ever do so well? Can you be satisfied to know there's something wrong to hide below? No, let your fault be what it may, to own it is the happy way. So long as you your crime conceal, you cannot light and gladsome feel. Your little heart will seem oppressed, as if a weight were on your breast, and e'en your mother's eye to meet will tinge your face with shame and heat. Yes, God has made your duty clear by every blush, by every fear, and conscience, like an angel kind, keeps watch to bring it to your mind. Its friendly warnings ever heed, and neither tell a lie nor need. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Dirty Jim by Jane Taylor and Ann Taylor. Read for LibriVox.org by Larry Wilson. There was one little Jim, 'tis reported of him, and must be to his lasting disgrace, that he never was seen with hands at all clean, nor yet ever clean was his face. His friends were much hurt to see so much dirt, and often they made him quite clean. But all was in vain, he got dirty again, and not at all fit to be seen. It gave him no pain to hear them complain, nor his own dirty clothes to survey. His indolent mind no pleasure could find in tidy and wholesome array. The idle and bad, like this little lad, may love dirty ways, to be sure, but good boys are seen to be decent and clean, although they are ever so poor. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Meddlesome Matty by Jane Taylor and Ann Taylor. Read for LibriVox.org by Deanna Kay. One ugly trick has often spoiled the sweetest and the best. Matilda, though a pleasant child, one ugly trick possessed, which, like a cloud before the skies, hid all her better qualities. Sometimes she'd lift the teapot lid to peep at what was in it, or tilt the kettle if you did but turn your back a minute. In vain you told her not to touch, her trick of meddling grew so much. Her grandmamma went out one day, and by mistake she laid her spectacles and snuff-box gay too near the little maid. "Ah, well," thought she, "I'll try them on as soon as grandmamma is gone." Forthwith she placed upon her nose the glasses large and wide, and looking round, as I suppose, the snuff-box too she spied. "Oh, what a pretty box is that! I'll open it," said little Mat. "I know that grandmamma would say, 'Don't meddle with it, dear,' but then she's far enough away, and no one else is near. Besides, what can there be amiss in opening such a box as this?" So thumb and finger went to work to move the stubborn lid, and presently a mighty jerk the mighty mischief did. For all at once, ah, woeful case! The snuff came puffing in her face. Poor eyes and nose and mouth beside, a dismal sight presented. In vain, as bitterly she cried, her folly she repented. In vain she ran about for ease, she could do nothing now but sneeze. She dashed the spectacles away to wipe her tingling eyes, and as in 20 bits she lay, her grandmamma she spies. "Heyday, and what's the matter now?" says Grandmamma with lifted brow. Matilda, smarting with the pain, and tingling still and sore, made many a promise to refrain from meddling evermore. And 'tis a fact, as I have heard, she ever since has kept her word. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Butterfly by Jane Taylor and Ann Taylor. Read for LibriVox.org by Larry Wilson. The butterfly, an idle thing, nor honey makes, nor yet can sing, as do the bee and bird. Nor does it, like the prudent ant, lay up the grain for times of want, a wise and cautious hoard. My youth is but a summer's day, then like the bee and ant I'll lay a store of learning by, and though from flower to flower I rove, my stock of wisdom I'll improve, nor be a butterfly. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Gaudy Flower by Jane Taylor and Ann Taylor. Read for LibriVox.org by Stunning. Why does my Anna toss her head and look so scornfully around, as if she scarcely deigned to tread upon the daisy-dappled ground? Does fancied beauty fire thine eye, the brilliant tint, the satin skin? Does the loved glass, in passing by, reflect a graceful form and thin? Alas, that form and brilliant fire will never win beholder's love, and may indeed make fools admire, but ne'er the wise and good can move. So grows the tulip, gay and bold, the broadest sunshine its delight, like rubies or like burnished gold, it shows its petals glossy bright. But who the gaudy floweret crops, as if to court a sweet perfume? Admired it blows, neglected drops, and sinks unheeded to its doom. The virtues of the heart may move affections of a genial kind, while beauty fails to stir our love, and wins the eye, but not the mind. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
George and the Chimney-Sweep by Jane Taylor and Ann Taylor. Read for LibriVox.org by mleigh. His petticoats now George cast off, for he was 4 years old. His trousers were of nankeen stuff, with buttons bright as gold. "May I," said George, "just go abroad, my pretty clothes to show?" "May I, mamma, but speak the word?" The answer was, "No, no." "Go run below, George, in the court, but go not in the street, lest boys with you should make some sport, or gypsies you should meet." Yet though forbidden he went out, that other boys might spy, and proudly there he walked about, and thought, "How fine am I!" But whilst he strutted through the street, with looks both vain and pert, a sweep boy passed whom not to meet, he slipped into the dirt. The sooty lad, whose heart was kind, to help him quickly ran, and grasped his arm with, "Never mind, you're up, my little man." Sweep wiped his clothes with labor vain, and begged him not to cry, and when he'd blackened every stain, said, "Little sir, good-bye." Poor George, almost as dark as Sweep, and smeared in dress and face, bemoans with sobs both loud and deep his well-deserved disgrace. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Deaf Martha by Jane Taylor and Ann Taylor. Read for LibriVox.org by Larry Wilson. Poor Martha is old, and her hair is turned gray, and her hearing has left her for many a year. 10 to 1 if she knows what it is that you say, though she puts her poor withered hand close to her ear. I've seen naughty children run after her fast, and cry, "Martha, run, there's a bullock so bold," and when she was frightened, laugh at her at last, because she believed the sad stories they told. I've seen others put their mouths close to her ear, and make signs as if they had something to say, and when she said, "Master, I'm deaf and can't hear," point to her and mock her, and scamper away. Ah, wicked the children poor Martha to tease, as if she had not enough else to endure. They rather should try her affliction to ease, and soothe a disorder that nothing can cure. One day, when those children themselves are grown old, and one may be deaf and another be lame, perhaps they may find that some children as bold may tease them and mock them and serve them the same. Then, when they reflect on the days of their youth, a faithful account will their consciences keep, and teach them with shame and with sorrow the truth, that what a man soweth, the same shall he reap. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Little Cripple's Complaint by Jane Taylor and Ann Taylor. Read for LibriVox.org by Marie Christian. I'm a helpless crippled child. Gentle Christians, pity me. Once in rosy health I smiled, blithe and gay as you can be, and upon the village green first in every sport was seen. Now, alas, I'm weak and low, cannot either work or play. Tottering on my crutches, slow, thus I drag my weary way. Now no longer dance and sing gaily in the merry ring. Many sleepless nights I live, turning on my weary bed. Softest pillows cannot give slumber to my aching head. Constant anguish makes it fly from my heavy, wakeful eye. And when morning beams return, still no comfort beams for me. Still my limbs with fever burn, painful still my crippled knee. And another tedious day passes slow and sad away. From my chamber window high, lifted to my easy chair, I the village green can spy. Once I used to frolic there. March or beat my new-bought drum, happy times, no more to come. There I see my fellows gay, sporting on the daisied turf, and amidst their cheerful play, stopped by many a merry laugh. But the sight I scarce can bear, leaning in my easy chair. Let not then the scoffing eye laugh my twisted leg to see. Gentle Christians passing by, stop a while and pity me, and for you I'll breathe a prayer, leaning in my easy chair. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Negligent Mary by Jane Taylor and Ann Taylor. Read for LibriVox.org by Stunning. Ah, Mary, what, do you for Dolly not care? And why is she left on the floor, forsaken and covered with dust? I declare, with you I must trust her no more. I thought you were pleased, as you took her so gladly, when on your birthday she was sent. Did I ever suppose you would use her so sadly? Was that, do you think, what I meant? With her bonnet of straw you once were delighted, and trimmed it so pretty with pink. But now it is crumpled, and Dolly is slighted. Her nurse quite forgets her, I think. Suppose now, for Mary is Dolly to me, whom I love to see tidy and fair. Suppose I should leave you as Dolly I see, in tatters and comfortless there. But Dolly feels nothing, as you do, my dear, nor cares for her negligent nurse. If I were as careless as you are, I fear your lot and my fault would be worse. And therefore it is, in my Mary I strive to check every fault that I see. Mary's doll is but waxen, Mamma's is alive, and of far more importance than she. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Spider by Jane Taylor and Ann Taylor. Read for LibriVox.org by Deanna Kay.
"Oh, look at that great ugly spider,"
said Anne, and screaming she brushed it away with her fan.
"'Tis a frightful black creature if ever can be. I wish that it would not come crawling on me."
"Indeed," said her mother, "I'll venture to say, the poor thing will try to keep out of your way. For after the fright and the fall and the pain, it has much more occasion than you to complain. But why should you dread the poor insect, my dear? If it hurt you, there'd be some excuse for your fear. But its little black legs, as it hurried away, did but tickle your arm as they went, I dare say. For them to fear us, we must grant to be just, who in less than a moment can tread them to dust. But certainly we have no cause for alarm, for, were they to try, they could do us no harm. Now look, it has got to its home, do you see? What a delicate web it has spun in the tree! Why, here, my dear Anne, is a lesson for you. Come learn from this spider what patience can do. And when at your business you're tempted to play, recollect what you see in this insect today. Or else, to your shame, it may seem to be true that a poor little spider is wiser than you. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
For a Naughty Little Girl by Jane Taylor and Ann Taylor. Read for LibriVox.org by Jennifer Beckett Wood. My sweet little girl should be cheerful and mild. She must not be fretful and cry. Oh, why is this passion? Remember, my child, God sees you, who lives in the sky. That dear little face that I like so to kiss, how altered and sad it appears. Do you think I can love you so naughty as this, or kiss you, all wetted with tears? Remember, though God is in heaven, my love, he sees you within and without, and always looks down from his glory above to notice what you are about. If I am not with you, or if it be dark, and nobody is in the way, his eye is as able your doings to mark in the night as it is in the day. Then dry up your tears and look smiling again, and never do things that are wrong, for I'm sure you must feel it a terrible pain to be naughty and crying so long. We'll pray then that God may your passion forgive, and teach you from evil to fly, and then you'll be happy as long as you live, and happy whenever you die. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Child's Monitor by Jane Taylor and Ann Taylor. Read for LibriVox.org by David Lawrence. The wind blows down the largest tree, and yet the wind I cannot see. Playmates far off, who have been kind, my thought can bring before my mind. The past by it is present bought, and yet I cannot see my thought. The charming rose scents all the air, yet I can see no perfume there. Blithe robin's notes, how sweet, how clear, from his small bill they reach my ear. And whilst upon the air they float, I hear, yet cannot see a note. When I would do what is forbid, by something in my heart I'm chid. When good, I think, then quick and pat. That something says, my child, do that. When I too near the stream would go, so pleased to see the waters flow, That something says, without a sound, "Take care, dear child, you may be drowned." And for the poor, whene'er I grieve, that something says, "A penny give." Thus, something very near must be, although invisible to me. Whate'er I do, it sees me still. Oh, then, good spirit, guide my will. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Chatterbox by Jane Taylor and Ann Taylor. Read for LibriVox.org by Victoria Bell. From morning till night it was Lucy's delight to chatter and talk without stopping. There was not a day but she rattled away, like water forever a-dropping. No matter at all if the subjects were small, or not worth the trouble of saying. 'Twas equal to her, she would talking prefer, to working, or reading, or playing. You'll think now, perhaps, that there would have been gaps, if she had not been wonderfully clever, that her sense was so great, and so witty her pate, it would be forthcoming forever. But that's quite absurd, for have you not heard that much tongue and few brains are connected, that they are supposed to think least who talk most, and their wisdom is always suspected. While Lucy was young, had she bridled her tongue with a little good sense and exertion, who knows but she might now have been our delight instead of our jest and aversion. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Jane and Eliza by Jane Taylor and Ann Taylor. Read for LibriVox.org by Jennifer Beckett Wood. There were two little girls, neither handsome nor plain. One's name was Eliza, the other's was Jane. They were both of one height, as I've heard people say. They were both of one age, I believe, to a day. 'Twas fancied by some, who but slightly had seen them, that scarcely a difference was there between them. But no one for long in this notion persisted. So great a distinction there really existed. Eliza knew well that she could not be pleasing, while fretting and fuming, while sulky or teasing, and therefore, in company artfully tried, not to break her bad habits, but only to hide. So when she was out, with much labour and pain, she contrived to look almost as pleasant as Jane. But then you might see that in forcing a smile her mouth was uneasy, and ached all the while. And in spite of her care, it would sometimes befall that some cross event happened to ruin it all, and because it might chance that her share was the worst, her temper broke loose, and her dimples dispersed. But Jane, who had nothing she wanted to hide, and therefore these troublesome arts never tried, had none of the care and fatigue of concealing, but her face always showed what her bosom was feeling. At home or abroad there was peace in her smile, a cheerful good nature that needed no guile, and Eliza worked hard but could never obtain the affection that freely was given to Jane. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Sleepy Harry by Jane Taylor and Ann Taylor. Read for LibriVox.org by Victoria Bell. I don't like to go to bed, sleepy little Harry said. Go, naughty Betty, go away. I will not come at all, I say. Oh, silly child, what is he saying? As if he could be always playing. Then, Betty, you must come and carry this very foolish little Harry. The little birds are better taught. They go to roosting when they ought, and all the ducks and fowls, you know. They went to bed an hour ago. The little beggar in the street, who wanders with his naked feet, and has not where to lay his head, oh, he'd be glad to go to bed. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Washing and Dressing by Jane Taylor and Ann Taylor. Read for LibriVox.org by David Lawrence. Ah, why will my dear little girl be so cross, and cry, and look sulky and pout? To lose her sweet smile is a terrible loss. I can't even kiss her without. You say you don't like to be washed and be dressed, but would you not wish to be clean? Come, drive that long sob from your dear little breast. This face is not fit to be seen. If the water is cold, and the brush hurts your head, and the soap has got into your eye, will the water grow warmer for all that you've said? And what good will it do you to cry? It is not to tease you and hurt you, my sweet, but only for kindness and care, that I wash you and dress you and make you look neat, and comb out your tanglesome hair. I don't mind the trouble, if you would not cry, but pay me for all with a kiss. That's right, take the towel and wipe your wet eye. I thought you'd be good after this. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Vulgar Little Lady by Jane Taylor and Ann Taylor. Read for LibriVox.org by Stunning. But, Mamma, now, said Charlotte, pray don't you believe that I'm better than Jenny, my nurse? Only see my red shoes and the lace on my sleeve. Her clothes are 1,000 times worse. I ride in my coach and have nothing to do, and the country folks stare at me so. And nobody dares to control me but you, because I'm a lady, you know. Then, servants are vulgar and I am genteel, so really 'tis out of the way to think that I should not be better a deal than maids and such people as they. Gentility, Charlotte, her mother replied, belongs to no station or place, and nothing so vulgar as folly and pride, though dressed in red slippers and lace. Not all the fine things that fine ladies possess should teach them the poor to despise, for 'tis in good manners and not in good dress that the truest gentility lies. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Wooden Doll and the Wax Doll by Jane Taylor and Ann Taylor. Read for LibriVox.org by BettyB. There were two friends, a very charming pair, Brunette the brown and Blanchidine the fair. And she to love Brunette did constantly incline, nor less did Brunette love sweet Blanchidine. Brunette in dress was neat, yet always plain, but Blanchidine of finery was vain. Now Blanchidine a new acquaintance made, a little girl most sumptuously arrayed, in plumes and ribbons, gaudy to behold, an India frock with spots of shining gold. Said Blanchidine, a girl so richly dressed should surely be by every one caressed. To play with me, if she will condescend, henceforth 'tis she alone shall be my friend. And so for this new friend in silks adorned, her poor Brunette was slighted, left, and scorned. Of Blanchidine's vast stock of pretty toys, a wooden doll her every thought employs. Its neck so white, so smooth, its cheeks so red, she kissed, she fondled, and she took to bed. Mamma now brought her home a doll of wax, its hair in ringlets white, and soft as flax. Its eyes could open, and its eyes could shut, and on it, too, with taste its clothes were put. My dear wax doll, sweet Blanchidine would cry, her doll of wood was thrown neglected by. One summer's day, 'twas in the month of June, the sun blazed out in all the heat of noon. My waxen doll, she cried, my dear, my charmer, what are you cold? But you shall soon be warmer. She laid it in the sun, misfortune dire, The wax ran down as if before the fire. Each beauteous feature quickly disappeared, and melting, left a blank all soiled and smeared. Her doll disfigured, she beheld amazed, and thus expressed her sorrow as she gazed: "Is it for you my heart I have estranged from that I fondly love, which has not changed? Just so may change my new acquaintance fine, for whom I left brunette, that friend of mine. No more by outside show will I be lured, of such capricious whims I think I'm cured. To plain old friends my heart shall still be true, nor change for every face because 'tis new." Her slighted wooden doll resumed its charms, and wronged brunette she clasped within her arms. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Baby's Dance by Jane Taylor and Ann Taylor. Read for LibriVox.org by Stunning. Dance, little baby, dance up high. Never mind, baby, mother is by. Crow and caper, caper and crow. There, little baby, there you go. Up to the ceiling, down to the ground. Backwards and forwards, round and round. Then dance, little baby, and mother shall sing, while the gay merry choral goes ding-a-ding-ding. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. The Pin by Jane Taylor and Ann Taylor. Read for LibriVox.org by Stunning. Dear me, what signifies a pin? I'll leave it on the floor. My pincushion has others in, Mamma has plenty more. A miser will I never be, said little heedless Emily. So, tripping on to giddy play, she left the pin behind for Betty's broom to whisk away, or someone else to find. She never gave a thought, indeed, to what she might tomorrow need. Next day a party was to ride to see an air balloon, and all the company beside were dressed and ready soon. But she, poor girl, she could not stir, for just a pin to finish her. 'Twas vainly now, with eye in hand, she did to search begin. There was not one the band of her police to pin. She cut her pincushion in two, but not a pin had slidden through. At last, as hunting on the floor, over a crack she lay, the carriage rattled to the door, then rattled fast away. Poor Emily! She was not in for want of just a single pin. There's hardly anything so small, so trifling, or so mean, that we may never want at all, for service unforeseen. And those who venture wilful waste may woeful want expect to taste. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Cow by Jane Taylor and Ann Taylor. Read for LibriVox.org by BettyB. Thank you, pretty cow that made pleasant milk to soak my bread, every day and every night, warm and fresh and sweet and white. Do not chew the hemlock rank, growing on the weedy bank, but the yellow cowslips eat, they perhaps will make it sweet. Where the purple violet grows, where the bubbling water flows, where the grass is fresh and fine, pretty cow, go there and dine. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Common Play in the Garden by Jane Taylor and Ann Taylor. Read for LibriVox.org by Stunning. Little sister, come away, and let us in the garden play, for it is a pleasant day. On the grass plat let us sit, or, if you please, we'll play a bit, and run about all over it. But the fruit we will not pick, for that would be a naughty trick, and very likely make us sick. Nor will we pluck the pretty flowers that grow about the beds and bowers, because you know they are not ours. We'll take the daisies, white and red, because Mamma has often said that we may gather them instead. And much I hope we always may our very dear Mamma obey, and mind whatever she may say. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Little Girls Must Not Fret by Jane Taylor and Ann Taylor. Read for LibriVox.org by Stunning. What is it that makes little Emily cry? Come then, let Mamma wipe the tear from her eye. There, lay down your head on my bosom. That's right. And now tell Mamma what's the matter tonight. What? Emmy is sleepy and tired with play. Come, Betty, make haste then and fetch her away. But do not be fretful, my darling. You know Mamma cannot love little girls that are so. She shall soon go to bed and forget it all there. Ah, here's her sweet smile come again, I declare. That's right, for I thought you quite naughty before. Good night, my dear child, but don't fret any more. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. The Field Daisy by Jane Taylor and Ann Taylor. Read for LibriVox.org by Stunning. I'm a pretty little thing, always coming with the spring. In the meadows green I'm found, peeping just above the ground, and my stalk is covered flat with a white and yellow hat. Little Mary, when you pass lightly o'er the tender grass, skip about, but do not tread on my bright but lowly head, for I always seem to say, surely winter's gone away. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Learning to Go Alone by Jane Taylor and Ann Taylor. Read for LibriVox.org by Nicole Wright. Linden, Washington, August 2023. Learning to Go Alone. Come, my darling, come away. Take a pretty walk today. Run along and never fear. I'll take care of baby dear. Up and down with little feet. That's the way to walk, my sweet. Now it is so very near. Soon she'll get to mother dear. There she comes along at last. Here's my finger, hold it fast. Now one pretty little kiss after such a walk as this. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Finery by Jane Taylor and Ann Taylor. Read for LibriVox.org by Stunning. In an elegant frock, trimmed with beautiful lace, and hair nicely curled, hanging over her face, young Fanny went out to the house of a friend, with a large little party the evening to spend. Ah, how they will all be delighted, I guess, and stare with surprise at my handsome new dress. Thus said the vain girl, and her little heart beat, impatient the happy young party to meet. But, alas, they were all too intent on their play, to observe the fine clothes of this lady so gay. And thus all her trouble quite lost its design, for they saw she was proud, but forgot she was fine. 'Twas Lucy, though only in simple white clad, nor trimmings, nor laces, nor jewels she had, whose cheerful good nature delighted them more than Fanny in all the fine garments she wore. 'Tis better to have a sweet smile on one's face than to wear a fine frock with an elegant lace, for the good-natured girl is loved best in the main, if her dress is but decent, though ever so plain. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
Grady Richard by Jane Taylor and Ann Taylor. read4LibriVox.org. "I think I want some pies this morning," said Dick, stretching himself and yawning. So down he threw his slate and books, and sauntered to the pastry cook's. And there he cast his greedy eyes round on the jellies and the pies, so to select with anxious care the very nicest that was there. At last the point was thus decided, as his opinion was divided, twixt pie and jelly being loth either to leave, he took them both. Now Richard never could be pleased to stop when hunger was appeased, but would go on to eat still more when he had had an ample store. "No, not another now," said Dick. "Dear me, I feel extremely sick. I cannot even eat this bit. I wish I had not tasted it." Then slowly rising from his seat, he threw his cheesecake in the street, and left the tempting pastry cooks with very discontented looks. Just then a man with wooden leg met Dick, and held his hat to beg, and while he told his mournful case, looked at him with imploring face. Dick, wishing to relieve his pain, his pockets searched, but searched in vain, and so at last he did declare he had not left a farthing there. The beggar turned with face of grief and look of patient unbelief, while Richard now his folly blamed, and felt both sorry and ashamed. "I wish," said he, "but wishing's vain, I had my money back again, and had not spent my last to pay for what I only threw away. Another time I'll take advice, and not buy things because they're nice, but rather save my little store to give to those who want it more." End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Holidays by Jane Taylor and Ann Taylor. Read for LibriVox.org by Victoria Bell. Ah, don't you remember? 'Tis almost December, and soon will the holidays come. Oh, 'twill be so funny. I've plenty of money. I'll buy me a sword and a drum. Thus said little Harry, unwilling to tarry, impatient from school to depart. But we shall discover this holiday lover knew little what was in his heart. From when on returning, he gave up his learning, away from his sums and his books. The playthings surrounded, and sweetmeats abounded, chagrin still appeared in his looks. The first they delighted, his toys now were slighted, and thrown away out of his sight. He spent every morning in stretching and yawning, yet went to bed weary at night. He had not that treasure which really makes pleasure, a secret discovered by few. You'll take it for granted, were playthings he wanted. Oh no, it was something to do. He must have employment to give us enjoyment, and pass the time cheerfully away. And study and reading give pleasure exceeding, the pleasure of toys and of play. To school now returning, to study and learning, with eagerness Harry applied. He felt no aversion to books or exertion, nor yet for the holidays sighed. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Village Green by Jane Taylor and Ann Taylor. Read for LibriVox.org by Larry Wilson. On the cheerful village green, skirted round with houses small, all the boys and girls are seen, playing there with hoop and ball. Now they frolic hand in hand, making many a merry chain. Then they form a warlike band, marching o'er the level plain. Now ascends the worsted ball, high it rises in the air, or against the cottage wall, up and down it bounces there. Then the hoop with even pace runs before the merry throngs. Joy is seen in every face, joy is heard in cheerful songs. Rich array and mansions proud, gilded toys and costly fare, would not make the little crowd half so happy as they are. Then contented with my state, where true pleasures may be seen, let me envy not the great on a cheerful village green. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. Mischief by Jane Taylor and Ann Taylor, read for LibriVox.org by Larry Wilson. Let those who are fond of idle tricks, of throwing stones and hurling bricks, and all that sort of fun, now hear a tale of idle Jim, that warning they may take by him, nor do as he has done. In harmless sport or healthful play he did not pass his time away, nor took his pleasure in it, for mischief was his only joy. No book or work or even toy could please him for a minute. A neighbor's house he'd slyly pass, and throw a stone to break the glass, and then enjoy the joke. Or, if the window open stood, he'd throw in stones or bits of wood, to frighten all the folk. If travellers passing chanced to stay, of idle Jim to ask the way, he never told them right, and then, quite hardened in his sin, rejoiced to see them taken in, and laughed with all his might. He'd tie a string across the street just to entangle people's feet, and make them tumble down. Indeed, he was disliked so much that no good boy would play with such a nuisance to the town. At last the neighbors, in despair, this mischief would no longer bear, and so, to end the tale, this lad, to cure him of his ways, was sent to spend some dismal days within the county jail. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
About the Little Girl That Beat Her Sister by Jane Taylor and Ann Taylor, read for LibriVox.org by Jennifer Beckett Wood. Go, go, my naughty girl, and kiss your little sister dear. I must not have such things as this, and noisy quarrels here. What? Little children scratch and fight, that ought to be so mild? Oh, Mary! It's a shocking sight to see an angry child. I can't imagine, for my part, the reason of your folly. She did not do you any hurt by playing with your dolly. See, see, the little tears that run fast from her watery eye. Come, my sweet innocent, have done. 'Twill do no good to cry. Go, Mary, wipe her tears away and make it up with kisses, and never turn a pretty play to such a pet as this is. End of poem. This recording is in the public domain.
The Apple Tree by Jane Taylor and Ann Taylor, read for LibriVox.org by Alan Mapstone. Old John had an apple tree, healthy and green, which bore the best codlings that ever were seen, so juicy, so mellow and red. And when they were ripe he disposed of his store to children or any who passed by his door to buy him a morsel of bread. Little Dick, his next neighbour, one often might see, with longing eye viewing this fine apple tree, and wishing a codlin might fall. One day as he stood in the heat of the sun, he began thinking whether he might not take one, and then he looked over the wall. And as he again cast his eye on the tree, he said to himself, "Oh, how nice they would be, so cool and refreshing to-day. The tree is so full, and one only I'll take, and John cannot see if I give it a shake, and nobody is in the way. But stop, little boy, take your hand from the bough. Remember, though John cannot see you just now, and no one to chide you is nigh, there is one who by night just as well as by day can see all you do and can hear all you say from his glorious throne in the sky. Oh, then, little boy, come away from the tree, lest tempted to this wicked act you should be. 'Twere better to starve than to steal, for the great God, who even through darkness can look, writes down every crime we commit in his book, nor forgets what we try to conceal." End of poem. This recording is in the public domain. End of Little Anne and Other Poems by Jane Taylor and Anne Taylor.